Good morning, everybody. I'm Cole Heath. It is a monumental day in Western New York. President Barack Obama coming to Buffalo. The president's visit kicking off a two-day bus tour about education through upstate New York and Pennsylvania. Air Force One is scheduled to touch down at Buffalo-Niagara International Airport. Momentarily, the flight is inbound, we're told, and in the air, take a look at it. Rachel Elzufon joins us from the airport. Rachel.
Hi there, Cole. Hi there, Cole. I'm sure you can see that is Air Force One flying in. Can you believe it? The President of the United States getting ready to land here in Buffalo, New York. You can see it's very low to the ground now. That symbolic airplane that is one of a kind here in the United States getting ready to touch down. The President getting ready to make a historic speech on education. That is his goal. That is why he is coming here to Buffalo. We are the first of 4 stops in New York State and in Pennsylvania. Now, President Obama is just about landing right on time, maybe even a few minutes early, 10:15. We were originally estimated 10:30. And just to give you an idea of where we are at, we are actually not at the main part of the Buffalo-Niagara International Airport. There you are. It's on the ground right there. You can see the president on the ground here in Buffalo. Again, like I was just saying, we are not necessarily at the part of the airport that you might usually think of, not the main runway where commercial flights come in that you and I fly on every day. Of course, we are in between where FedEx and UPS are located. This is actually the same area where they brought Luna, the polar bear. Security extremely high here. For several minutes before the president landed, we were watching a helicopter, and it's actually still flying above just to make sure that the president stays safe. Of course, that is really the main goal right now of everybody, to make sure that the President of the United States is safe during his visit here in Buffalo, and people all over just in place in case any little thing can go wrong. There are sharpshooters on the roof that we're looking at, Secret Service agents all over the airport. And I can tell you, just for us even, the process of getting in here was quite the process. We had to go through several screening points, even members of the media who were approved beforehand. They wanted to make sure that we were ready to go, that everything was going to be safe for the president. And if you could see a few minutes earlier, there are actually quite a few people here ready to greet the president at the airport. They are hoping to shake his hand, who knows, maybe even get a tour of Air Force One, which would be obviously a very unique opportunity. We also have some dignitaries here. We are showing Mayor Byron Brown, and we are also showing Governor Andrew Cuomo. He must have just arrived. I looked over a few minutes ago and he wasn't here yet, so he just arrived here a few minutes ago. Congressman Brian Higgins here as well. They are all here to greet the President of the United States, along with, like we said, many people in the back, Secret Service agents everywhere, making sure that the president stays safe. And there are also a lot of security measures being taken in the air at this hour. There has been a no-fly zone established for about the past 10-15 minutes. It's been about that long since we saw any planes in the sky. No planes allowed to arrive while the president is at the airport, making sure that he is safe. They're actually, and I'm looking at some more sharpshooters right now, they really are everywhere around me, making sure that everything is okay with the president. And like I was saying before, the planes actually that are going to arrive at the Buffalo-Niagara International Airport, they are circling in the vicinity around us, but they will not be allowed to land here until the president leaves the area, until the president leaves on his motorcade. And that's another sign that we saw that there was some activity starting. We saw his ground bus, known as Ground Force One, the bus that he's going to be doing the tour on a few minutes ago. We could see that bus, which actually we are showing you right now. Over there is the plane is starting to approach that bus right now. We could see that bus being moved, an SUV being moved, signs that the motorcade was getting ready. That was how we knew that there was definitely activity going on, that the president was starting to arrive. Now, just to give you a little bit of history, as you can see, Air Force One is a very large plane. It's a Boeing 747, a VC-25A. It can fit 102 passengers, including 26 crew members. very high tech. It can refuel in the air. Usually, because of how large that plane is, it actually cannot land here in Buffalo. The weight limit here is 400,000 pounds due to a bridge that it has to go over nearby. However, this plane, which I can tell you is by far the biggest plane that I have ever seen, if it flies with fewer people, it can actually fly with less fuel to lighten its load, and also, of course, flying from Andrews Air Force Base, it is a shorter flight. That flight only took about 50 minutes to fly from Andrews Air Force Base to Buffalo-Niagara International Airport. Now, the president is not going to be most likely the first person that we see get off of that airplane. He is situated at the front, but like we have been saying so many times, the main priority is for safety. So the people who are going to get off first are most likely the people in the back of the plane, who there are military members ready to greet right now. I'm watching, and now things are really starting to get moving to greet people getting off of Air Force One. We see the steps going into place that the president is going to walk down. So that is a very exciting moment here, and I'm looking over at the crowd of people who are just so anxious to see the president in person. They all have their camera phones out. They are smiling. I'm just waiting for them to erupt in cheers in just a few minutes.
Rachel,
and
thank you so
Secret
much.
Service agents.
I hate to cut you off there, but it just seems like it's just a flurry of activity right now. I mean, can you just begin to describe the energy, so to speak? I mean, this is such a monumental day. I mean, especially when Air Force One landed and now that it's sitting there on the tarmac. Is the energy really picking up a excitement level, so to speak, or how does it feel out there?
It's incredible. Everybody is extremely excited right now, extremely overwhelmed, and right now activity really picking up. Like I said, people were going to get off of the back of the plane first. You can see some people carrying overnight bags. Remember, this is a two-day tour of New York and Pennsylvania, and people getting off at the back of the plane, starting to unload. These are mainly Secret Service members, and now towards the front of the plane, which I know you can see right now, we have the stairs that the president is going to walk down, going up to the plane. Congressman Brian Higgins, Mayor Byron Brown, and Governor Andrew Cuomo all walking to the plane to greet him. You can tell that they are so excited. This is such a proud day for Buffalo to be chosen as a venue for the President of the United States to kick off an education initiative on. Now, we are not seeing the president come down yet. Right now, it's still the people on the back of the plane unloading, carrying luggage, carrying equipment. A lot of the national members of the media are there as well.
Absolutely, Rachel. Again, sorry to cut in on you, but you kind of touched on it a little earlier, but I mean, I don't think too many people realize, even for members of the media who may be a familiar face, can you just talk about the actual security that you yourself had to go through to get so close to the president and his plane?
Cole, it was incredible. First, they had us park in one specific area. Then we had to go through a building. They went down the line, talked to every single member of the media, and then they took us outside. They lined up all of our bags, all of our equipment, cameras in one line, had us stand in a single file line in the back, waved wands over us, had a dog check our bags. They actually also had our live trucks in a separate location, along with the live truck operators. They checked them. They went through each and every live truck, making sure that every single one was safe for the president. No risks being taken here at this time. Extremely, extremely hard to get into here, which obviously is for the benefit of the president. But we all talked to Secret Service agents. We talked to NFTA officers, New York State Police. They have all law enforcement on hand here. And I just want to point out, they do have Ground Force One, that big bus, ready for the president to go on, and that is what he is going to travel on to UB. And Cole, the motorcade is lined up. There are dozens of cars here ready for that motorcade to kick off as soon as the president gets off that plane.
Rachel, and just finally, it looks like the president may be ready to get out and get on that bus. But what are people saying? What are you hearing from people out there in terms of the impact that this visit can make on our area?
Well, I think that one of the big things that they're saying is that it puts Buffalo in such a positive light. As we know, so often Buffalo gets the brunt of the media, especially nationwide. There tends to be, unfortunately, a negative look onto Buffalo, and for the second time in just 3 years, he's showing that Buffalo is a positive place. Last time, touring a manufacturing facility, saying this is a good example of job growth in Buffalo, and now the president ready to go to university at Buffalo, and what we're hearing is he wants to use UB as a positive example of how wonderful the education system can be, and use it as an example of an institution that is affordable for middle-class citizens, for people who are looking to continue their education but can't afford those skyrocketing tuition bills. That Buffalo, and you know, they also think that it's just always good anytime you put Buffalo in the national spotlight.
And just finally, Rachel, it seems like things are starting to stir around about there, but I mean, stuff we can't see, we have the one view here, but just tell us a little bit more. I mean, looking around on that tarmac, I mean, what are you seeing that people may not be aware of actually what is unfolding right in front of you? Well,
right now I can see you're panning over to see some of the activity going on, to see the plane. First of all, I have to emphasize how incredibly large this plane is. It truly is amazing, but a lot of activity, and right now I think people are just kind of waiting. They're going, okay, come off, and here he is coming off the plane, the President of the United States, and people are so excited. This crowd that has gathered to greet him, so incredibly excited. Pictures snapping everywhere. Here he is, shaking Governor Andrew Cuomo's hand, chit-chatting a little bit. There he is talking with some of his other greeters, some people very excited here to see him. Of course, Congressman Higgins and Mayor Byron Brown here as well. The mayor actually said that they asked for him to be here to talk to him, and of course that's what he's doing right now. He's talking to them about, well, we don't exactly know what about, but it really is an incredible moment, and everybody's so excited. Even people with the media. I mean, it's not every day that the President of the United States come to Buffalo, and the people that I'm looking at behind me, they're kind of calling over to him, hoping that he comes back their way, hoping that maybe he'll chit-chat with them, have a couple of words with them, and that is really what they want. Obviously, they came all the way to see the president.
Absolutely, and it seems like when any president comes to town, and you've touched on it, does such a great job, but does it almost feel as if you see those old clips of the Beatles coming to town at the airport, and people are going crazy and you know, wanting to get as close as they can? Is it almost like that, or is it a little more subdued with all the obvious protections in place?
I think with all the obvious protection, it is a little bit more subdued. I know right now you're looking at the president shaking hands, but from further back, from what I see, there are Secret Service agents and law enforcement officers standing very still, very stern, looking around. I mean, you can tell that they really are making sure that this is a safe visit for the president. And even though these people are excited, there is something very different from when the Beatles came, and that's that we all have iPhones now, and we all want to take pictures. In fact, I'm actually multitasking. I'm trying to work my iPhone to take a picture of him while I'm talking to you guys. But obviously, when you're taking a picture, you can't be jumping up and down, or else the picture doesn't come out quite as well. But you can tell just by looking at their faces. There are people that have their just the way they're holding their hands. They're truly anticipating this.
Absolutely.
This moment.
And we of course here have helped build that anticipation, covering his visit. Such a monumental occasion, and the fact that everything, all the hard work from the media standpoint to prepare for this visit, the fact that this moment is actually here, and you're there on the tarmac, just feet from the leader of the free world. Is it just what is that feeling like? I mean, not a lot of people get to experience that, no matter if you're in the media or if you work on a restaurant or something. It's got to be just a very special feeling for you, I'm sure.
It's incredibly surreal. Now, we are being kept a good distance. We're probably about 120 feet away from the president. Oh, and now that moment that you were talking about where everybody's waving, that moment is happening right now. President Obama is moving his way towards this crowd of people, and there is so much excitement. Everybody wants to shake his hand. There's probably about a good 100 people there, and all they want to do is shake the president's hand, say hi, and greet him here in Buffalo.
Do you have any idea who's over there? Is it mostly residents of the area, or people who may have ties to the governor or the mayor, or is it who's all there?
Well, there are a couple of people here with some ins. Not really people with ties to the governor, but maybe some people with family and friends that are working here right now. But really, they are people that wanted to meet the president, people that wanted to shake his hands, people just that live in Western New York. They are like you and me, Cole. They don't necessarily have any special, very high up position in the government. Of course, we do have the governor, Buffalo's mayor, and one of our Congress members here to greet President Obama. But really, the people that he's talking to right now are the ones who just came here hoping to meet him, and it looks like that's happening. I'm looking at, there's a younger girl right now who I'm looking at. She has the biggest smile on her face. Probably a young teen, and I mean, to be that age and meet the president of the United States, that's just amazing.
Absolutely. Now, what can we expect as soon as he loads up on, I believe you called it Ground Force One, the awesome RV with the presidential symbol on it? What can we expect next?
It is incredible. It is called the Ground Force One, a large black bus. By the way, cost about $1.1 million, and it's going to become part of the presidential motorcade. He is expected to get in that motorcade and head over to the University at Buffalo to deliver this speech that so many have really been waiting for. Now, in this motorcade, we're not exactly sure what direction he will be leaving. Secret Service has been making sure that they keep that route very tight-lipped for the president's safety, but we do know that anybody who might be starting or might be heading that way between UB and the airport, there may be some road closures as this motorcade goes through, and it's a very large motorcade. Presidential motorcades typically have about 20 to 30 vehicles, and I'm looking right now, they're actually starting to move, and they have actually an SUV or a black vehicle for the president that the doors open, so I think they're trying to get him over there, trying to get some people into the vehicle. That motorcade will most likely take off very, very soon. And then, of course, he will go to University at Buffalo. And from what we know, he really wants to hit home on education and its affordability. That's the main point of why he's here today. There have been reports that he might talk of a college-university ranking system over at University at Buffalo and hope to form a reward system for those institutions and for students going to schools with higher rankings, and those higher rankings would really be based on both affordability and also how good that school is.
Definitely interesting stuff to think about and really get a picture for what the president wants to address. Some things we're hearing of are potential reports of protesters potentially. Have you seen anything at all in the area?
Not over here. I mean, to get into this area that we're in, Cole, you cannot be a you have to be a supporter. You cannot be a protester. It's extremely highly secure. You have to have been cleared beforehand and then go through security again in order to get here. But I can't say that's not the same outside the airport, but most likely those protesters that we're hearing about are actually going to be either along the motorcade route, even though that's up in the air because nobody knows exactly where he's going, or at University at Buffalo outside of Alumni Arena, and there he goes, folks, the President of the United States boarding the bus that he will be traveling into University at Buffalo, and then after his speech traveling to Syracuse for his 4-stop bus tour through upstate New York and Pennsylvania. Not only is he going to be speaking at Buffalo, but also in Syracuse, Binghamton, and Scranton, Pennsylvania, 2 of those areas. He's actually going to hold town hall meetings to discuss his education platform. So for him, people say that this is something very important to his second-term agenda, that this is something that he really wanted to hone in on, education, that this is something that's very, very important to him. And right now, Ground Force One still not moving yet, but of course it's not going to be the first vehicle to leave. Before he takes off in that vehicle, it's going to be the law enforcement vehicles that you are going to see move. The local law enforcement, they really set the way for this. They're the ones that you're going to see go through with the sirens. You can hear everything. You can see the lights. They're going to be the ones clearing the way for the motorcade. And we're also pretty sure that, of course, Mayor Byron Brown is probably in this motorcade, Governor Andrew Cuomo, Congressman Brian Higgins, the other dignitaries that came here to greet him and came here to be by his side at University at Buffalo. And there it goes. There's applause as well. People very excited, still taking pictures on their phones. Just a very surreal moment, Cole, here at the airport as the presidential motorcade gets underway. What an amazing moment. And there go several more vehicles, most of them, of course, black vehicles. You can tell that they're definitely law enforcement and government officials. And I am seeing more Secret Service agents drive on by. One of them just kind of waved at us. And you can tell that they are going now to University at Buffalo to make sure he's safe. And they also, of course, have to be a part of that presidential motorcade to ensure his safety, just to be sure that if any little thing goes wrong, they can make sure the president is safe, that they can get him to safely quickly. And there goes another bus. This one's red. And some more vehicles. You can tell they're law enforcement vehicles with more agents on them, making sure that, like I said before, their #1 priority today at the airport is not just the president's destination, but it is making sure that the commander-in-chief of our country is secure, that he is safe, that nothing happens. There's an ambulance going by. Earlier, we saw fire trucks lined up at the airport. They were here just in case any little thing goes wrong. They are here just in case they need to get the president out of danger. There's a sheriff's vehicle going by. And of course, what an incredible moment. Cole, we're going to turn it back to you now, but of course we will also be here and bring you the latest. As everything happens, what an incredible moment at Buffalo-Niagara International Airport. The motorcade is starting. They are going onto the street, heading towards University at Buffalo. And of course, we have crews there to bring you all of the live details of what the president will be saying there. Cole, back to you.
Rachel, excellent work.